Hey everybody, welcome to Pat Oates' Awoke. It is the June 18th and day after Father's Day. Father's Day weekend was this weekend, and I spent an awesome one with my two kids. Had a blast just doing fun things that I enjoy and they enjoy, like I think people should. Talked about it on Thursday, but if any of you are out there ignoring your children, that's weird. That's fucking weird. It's Father's Day. You should be hanging out with them. I like hanging out with my kids. So Father's Day weekend isn't like an odd weekend for me. Everyone has their own dynamics. I mean, I guess if that's how your family works, you're like, Dad just tolerates us on Father's Day. Well, I mean, I guess that's him, and just give yourself a hug. I don't know, but my kids and I had fun. We all weekend was a big. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and my kids therefore kind of are. They tolerant, I guess. And they enjoy it, but it's not as much as I do. Obviously, we watched a lot of wrestling. There's a lot of wrestling going on, and went out and did a bunch of Pokemon Go when we traveled around. And I like Pokemon Go. I enjoy playing it with the kids because Pokemon Go makes you walk around the streets and go to we walk through cemeteries all day. That's if you don't know the game, it's got a GPS device to it, and you go around, you have to capture these creatures, and the kids are doing it, and it makes you go to different stops and things. But where I live, most of these Poke stops where they need to go are just in graveyards. So the kids and I yesterday were like, going through, and we know the stops, whatever. We had played this game for a while, and then we took a break for a bit, and then put the games back on the phones this weekend so we could go out. It's beautiful out, and I've been trying to stay healthier. So I wanted to get out and do things, not just sit on our asses the whole time, even though I knew we were gonna for a while. So we went out and doing the pokey stops and walking around and checking things out. And we're going through these graveyards, you know, on Father's Day. So as the kids and I are there, I'm like, hey, kids, I got no problem with us doing this. We got to go in there, it's pokey stops, whatever. Make sure we're respectful because there are going to be some people at the cemeteries visiting their, you know, artists formerly known as fathers, I guess, whatever you do when you visit a grave. Um, so I was like, we got to be respectful. We can't be like yelling while we're playing or whatever, walking through. And so there's certain stops that are near like statues in the cemetery. So I would just tell the kids when you do walk over those spots, kind of put your phone near your hip and kind of lower your head and pretend like you're sad and you're visiting somebody. So they would be like, you just walking. They must look like they were part of the Titanic and they were the two that survived because they're visiting like 100 graves. So heads down like, oh, but we had fun and we have stories and it was great and it was a good time. And I said we hung out, we saw some family and whatever, but we had a blast. And that's all it's about. There's still here with me because school's over for them, so we're just hanging out and having a good time. Tonight, I got to go to host the weekly open mic at Rascal Flats in Stanford, which has been a real fun one so far. Please come out and support that. Um, this will be usually it's Frank and I together, Frank Gallo, myself. But Frank won't be there this evening, so it'll just be me there running it. So come on out and support. I know there's a bunch of open mics happening this Monday in Connecticut. If you want to go support them all. You know what I mean? Go hit CT in Hartford or mine in Stanford. They're so far away. That's fine. Choose one or the other. But make sure you're supporting these things so these mics stay there. Ours will start like normal 7:30, 7 o'clock startup. But it'll just be good to go to tell some jokes. I got a bunch of shows coming up in June. I'm gonna be at comics a ton. Not this week, but next week I'll be at Comics Mohegan Sun Wednesday through Sunday, hosting the comedy contest, which is coming up. And that always gets me. That's an exciting time of year for me when the big last comic standing contest happens at comics, because as some of you that know me know, I did win it a couple years ago, and I am the only winner ever from Connecticut to win it. And they've done. I think they've had like 8 winners now, and stuff like. So I am obviously the Highlander of Connecticut comedy. And for all of you that think you're better than me, well, I am a champion of the world and you are not. So haha. But no, this time of year it's cool to watch all these kind. They get like 150 entrants in it, and they all and And I get to watch all different kinds of comics. Because the cool thing what comics does is, like Miss Teen America and some shit, when you're the winner, you get to come back and host the next couple of years. They have a bunch of guys comics now, a bunch of winners. So I'm hosting the first two on the 27th and the 30th while I'm there. But it's cool to see all these comics I've never seen before and watch them all. Stress out. Well, I don't stress out. Like they're all these comics, 12 comics, are only four of them moving on in the first round, and they're all in the back green room and they're freaking out about what's exactly 5 minutes they should do, what they think the crowd's gonna want, what they think the judges are gonna want. Should they do this joke or that joke? Like, shit, I drew number two. I want to go number four. Four is the spot. And it's awful to say, but I love watching these comics who normally go around and comedy is usually just working on your act. You're not worried about impressing, having one show that outdoes other comics. I mean, there are comics who do that and like are competitive, but they're fuck ups and they shouldn't be involved. If you're constantly gauging yourself against other people in comedy, you're not going to be good at comedy because your mindset is elsewhere. You're worried too much. I know some comics who do that. They're always saying they have measuring sticks and they say, I'm better than this guy. Like there's some fucking AP poll out there that there's some like weird scout going around, the Hartford area of Connecticut and saying, here's my top 25 top comics. Who moved up this week? Who moved down? Like, there's no better or work. You work hard. Comedy's about you and focusing, just like everything else is, really. I mean, we get caught up in. There's nothing wrong with being competitive, but you should be competitive with yourself. How do I make this better? How do I make that better? How do I make my jokes, my act, my delivery, all that better? That should be the thing. So when you're going to open mics, you should be going there with the purpose of getting better, not I did the best at the open mic, or I got the three people to laugh, or I didn't get the three people to laugh. Why? Well, it has to be their fault. It's like, oh my god, like you go outside and get a fucking hug from one of those guys and come back in and clean your mind up. But like, it's funny to watch these contests because in that one instance, you are doing it to get work. You are doing it to move on, and within the club. But with this contest, with comedy festivals, with any kind of contest, all comics, don't let it define you or don't let it make you have one thought of yourself. Either way, win it all, you shouldn't give a fuck. You lose it in the first round, who gives a fuck? It's not like you're now fired from comedy or now like the president of comedy if you win things. You're just still you. All comedy is like that. We put pressures on things. Like last week at open mic, one of the comics was on Facebook afterwards upset because like, well, the crowd didn't like this kind of joke. I don't know why they're uptight. And then first of all, don't put blame on crowds. Second of all, if you're doing comedy for more than like a month and you don't understand what an open mic is and that's not a show, there's something wrong. I mean, like, and I've tried to explain this to some people that aren't comedians, and I get why they don't understand it. But here's the clearest thing, and I know this is going on a little ramble, but that's what we're doing. Yeah, I want to explain this to the people that aren't comedians that are watching this, and the people that are comics that are newer. And I think everyone else should get it. Open mic. The word itself, open microphone. There's a microphone that is open to everyone. Anyone. You watching right now who's like, I've never done comedy in my life. I wouldn't even know where to start. Open mic. Why can you start there? Because it's open to everyone. I'll be hosting the Rascal Flats open mic in Stanford tonight. If you, Joe Schmo, showed up tonight, there'd be a sign-up sheet. It'd be sitting on the bar area, and you'd walk over and you'd say, I'd like to go on stage. And I'd go, put your name there. Well, I've never done comedy. And I'll kindly say, oh, that's wonderful. But I'm really thinking, who gives a fuck? Put your name on there. Well, who else does it? Put your name on there. That's it. You people have been doing it 5 years. The guy who just tried yesterday, crazy guy outside who wants to, because it's raining and wants to yell. Everybody goes up and you get, usually at mics, up to 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. Up to 5 minutes. Why aren't we saying this more, hosts and people who run comedy open mics? We should be always saying up to 5 minutes, because a lot of these people go, first, the new person goes, "Oh, 5 minutes, that's it? I was in my car reciting it, and I have at least 6 hours, and it's hilarious stories about an uncle no one knows, or this wacky thing at my work, because I'm the fun one at work." Well, just go up and do the five. I'll wave my phone at you. You got 4 minutes, and you've got 1 minute left. And my God, believe me, usually most of them don't make it to even 3 minutes. And if they do, they're just already ready to stop ever pursuing what they thought they could, because they realize real quickly how hard it is. But you don't need to do all 5 minutes. All these comments go like, "What else? What else? How much time left?" It's like, why are you acting like this whiny bitch? You get to an open mic. Oh my God, how much more time? Oh, is someone going to laugh at anything? Is this the act you're working on? Complaining? Go with a game plan, and you won't have that issue. When I go, I have a notebook, and in the notebook are the 3 points or 4 points I want to work on that day. If I'm going to retool a joke, if I have a new idea I want to flesh out just by verbalizing, whatever I want to do, I have that idea. Sometimes, like last week, I was working on this one story that I did at every open mic. Story's not fucking 5 minutes long. I think at the longest when I taped it, it was 3 minutes and 47 seconds. So I used 3 minutes and 47 seconds, and then I was done with my task. Well, you sit there when I'm done with that and go, "What else? What else?" And you just make everybody think it's the "what else" question time. It's like, no, just fucking do your thing, get out of there. But it's open to everyone. Wanna know why? Because it's fucking practice. If you are a sports fan, if you've ever been to a baseball game before the game started, you go early, they have a thing called batting practice. All the baseball players come out and they practice. Someone throws practice pitches and they hit the ball. Now, sometimes they might hit the ball so far it goes over the fence. Is that a home run? No. Wanna know why? Because it's fucking practice. If they miss the ball 3 times, first of all, they missed the ball 3 times in batting practice. They should not be playing baseball. But if they did in a row, they would not strike out. There would not be an out. It does not count. When you go to an open mic, there are people there sometimes as an audience. Mostly it's comedians, other comedians getting ready to put work in. Comedians aren't going to sit there and laugh at your jokes. They may the first or second time when if they've never seen you before. But for the most part, every comedian is there to work on their material. They are there to work on themselves and their act. They are not there to be part of your movie that you think that's all the world is about you. I understand we all have our own movie, we all have our own bubble, and we all travel around thinking all these comics are watching you and thinking about you. They aren't. They're actually thinking about if every other comic's thinking about them. And everyone's running around thinking about thinking, which is ridiculous. So if the comics laugh at something you say at all, it's probably because it was fucked up. Because comics will usually laugh at things that are not really funny but odd, because we're like, what the fuck? They used to say that. They used to attempt that. Holy shit. If there's people at the bar, like tonight, it's Monday, and it's wonderful that this new Rascal Flats mic we're doing, people have come out. And we've gotten a couple audience members here and there. Remember, they're not paying anything to get in. They're out on a Monday night drinking. They aren't your typical comedy crowd, because people are going out to this. People that go out on the weekend to go to comedy clubs, the audience that we're writing for, and comedy fans aren't usually out on a Monday and Tuesday night not giving a fuck about tomorrow. People that are at open mics and they're at bars and things like that, the audiences that go, for the most part, are there because the beers are cheap, the food is cheaper, and because they're just trying to. Life's already not a good time on Monday. So they're just like, fuck it, I need to go somewhere. And we happen to be standing in a microphone yelling jokes. A, they're not your audience to relate. B, you're working on material. The delivery is not always the best and crispest. Most open mics, I'm watching comics go, okay, what's next? Whatever. Then they tell some kind of half-assed joke and then get upset that the audience didn't relate. Did you deliver it the way it should be delivered? Was it crisp? Was it clear? Was it precise? Was you doing and ah and just kind of like saying this, whatever, and then you just yelled out some weird, shocking word, and you're just upset they didn't relate. A, they're not who you're trying to relate to. B, if it came off sharp and it came off clear and precise, you probably would got a couple laughs. It's on you to get that out. That's why you're at this show that doesn't count. Open mic, not a show. If it was a show, you wouldn't be on it. I hate to say that, but a lot of young comics are like, well, I mean, I can't go to open mic. There's only like 4 or 5 people. I need an audience. Well, you want an audience, you have to work hard to become good and develop a good amount of time that's solid. Working on 5-minute chunks and building that so you have a good 15-minute set so you can be a host, not just be able to do 15 minutes that if I put a gun to your head and I said, your life depends on this set, that I would laugh. Now, most of you do not have that. Most of you go around telling each other at open mics that you're both all fantastic and you're all wonderful and you just softball team fucking high five each other the entire time saying, look at me, I'm great. Yeah, you are. I've watched, and you're like, those 3 people I know, my 3 comedy friends, our community, we all love each other's jokes, right? No, you're just fucking all enabling each other. You're all just telling each other you're good, but none of you are good. So how do you know what the fuck is good? Well, we were not good. We're proud. That's fucking great. Be proud to be in a comic. You should, I guess, have pride. But when your pride goes away, then you'll be good at comedy. Because you got to be vulnerable. You got to be weak. You got to be able to express things. It takes a long time to just be okay. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm good. I'm just saying I've been around a long time and I've seen a lot of shit. Most of you motherfuckers have asked me for advice. What I'm saying is comedy is not a competition, but it also isn't an ego stroke. It's an art form. It's the only one that gets no respect from businesses, venues, and people in general because everyone just thinks it's easy. Because on the surface, they're like, you're just making people laugh. I laugh. I've gotten laughs. I can do that. They don't realize the hard work that goes in. I don't realize it because most of you don't fucking put the hard work in. You don't try. You come up with an idea, you go to a mic, you say it once, and now it's your joke. I've got this joke now. You're not writing and rewriting and editing and fleshing it out and doing all that work. Cameo appearance, run by quick, buddy. Son too tired to deal with this. You wave out everyone. Yes, you are awoke. There's Seamus waking up, looking like he had a rough one last night, but you're working hard on your act and yourself to get better. To sit there and constantly question everything else and what they're doing is just you're gonna make it more frustrating than it already should be. Like tonight at the open mic, I have a joke that I've worked on. It's an old story from in my life, like 7, 8 years ago, at least, that I tried to tell a long time ago when it first happened. I wasn't the same comic. I've been doing comedy in July will be 11 years. And I'm a better comic now. I know how to deliver things more. I know how to attack a joke more. I know how to do things from my voice perspective. I have old jokes. I'll go through my notebooks and just say, "Oh man, this bit that I could never get to work." Now a new approach, and knowing how to edit it and pull the clutter out and do all that. I know how to, and also just because of how I know how to carry myself on stage, I kind of get it. Now I can go to an open mic with that, and I don't need the audience. That's the thing. Once you become a regular at working these things and understand, once you get from open mics to doing shows, and you see the audience you're working for, and what they like from you and what you feel comfortable delivering, you start to understand what's funny without the response. And I know all comics think that's the pay. The pay in comedy is if they laugh, it's funny. If they don't laugh, it's not funny. It's like that is not fucking true. No, there are many things that can be funny. If I see someone working on a work of art and I look at it and I go, I don't get it. Does that mean it's not a good work of art? I don't fucking know art. I'm your open mic art fan. I don't know art. I look at the whatever. I'm just and it's all mic fans right. They're just sitting there, just drunks having wings. I'm wondering if they have a buffalo Q sauce or whatever the fuck mixture they need. I don't care. It's about learning how to deliver it. So when you go to open mics and you start learning that, you understand that what you need to work on, cadence or a different inflection in your voice or body movements that are going to help sell the joke. When you're telling a joke like this and boom, you go like that, it's weird how that will change a laugh. That will make that simple thing, but you learn where to put that in order learning how to flesh out the wording and things to make it so it doesn't seem all cluttered and mumbling and madness and stuff like that. And learning how to make things work, make it work out. Woo! And make things all work out so people can relate and connect to it. That's the key to it, flushing out all these words of and what else? What else? What else is new? If I hear that at a goddamn open mic, what else is new? What else happened? What else went on? What else went on? That last thing you said about doing things with the gerbil, that didn't really go on. But it's about working things out and practicing and getting better. That it's practice. I hate that Allen Iverson the shit out of it, but practice. These because comics getting upset at it. And then like going on Facebook. Don't go on Facebook and say my open mic is no good. It's a venue that's letting you practice. You didn't get laughs, so it's no good. Wow, you're not going to be good at comedy if you think everything is about who accepts you and who doesn't. Where are you working? None of you do any work. I mean, you book each other on podunk no pay shows. And I mean, and that's how you start off. I get it, but like the past judgment on other shows and mics and things, it's just so I kind of like to see the contest for that regard too. When I'm going to host a contest, there are going to be some comics who are comics that are working all over New England and New York and that are working real hard and getting work. We're hosting and featuring on weekends places and headlining small one-nighters and starting to make headway in comedy. They're going to be there with the purpose of getting the attention of this one club so they can get weekend work. They're going to be on the same show, the same lineup as these comics who go to open mics for the last year and a half that don't go outside of their bubble, that stay in the same little community with their 18 friends that they have in comedy that all tell each other they're great. And then because of that small bubble, they believe they're the only 18 fucking comics in the world. And that they're obviously the best. And then they don't really understand that there's other comics or venues or people or things to relate to or how much work they have to put in. And then they show up with this cockiness and they're like bragging about like what they're gonna do, whatever. And then when they go up and their jokes don't relate the same as these comics who have been doing it for years and are making headway and working hard and hitting mics every night with a purpose and a goal, not just hitting mics to say it's fun hangout time with their friends. They don't move on, and the ones that work hard do. And then what do? They go, oh, that fucking contest is rigged. They want this person to win and that person. So a comedy club was putting on a thing to try to find comics to pay for the weekends. It has a fix going on. They don't want you to be funny. That's what they want. You learn from it. When you're done doing your set, you go out and you watch these other comics who've been doing a while. You pick brains, you chat with people afterwards, you learn. And then you realize, oh, I didn't realize all those fucking people existed. And since this contest is kind of localized in a way that's basically 3 or 4 states in New England and some people from New York and New Jersey, that you could travel, talk to them about where they go and travel and see that there's so much more comedy. That there's so many places to learn from. There's so many more showcases and mics and eventually shows that you get on that you need to experience to relate to everybody. So these contests are great when I get to go host them again because I get to watch passion and delusion in the same room, and you learn from that. It's like when I'm going to the gym every day now, and I see some people, the same people every day. Kind of when I'm going every morning, you start to see the same faces. Obviously, I don't talk to them. I will never talk to anyone at a gym. That is weird, and you shouldn't have gym conversations. No, but you notice there are people there. They're there all the time that are working, and you can see, like in their bodies and in their self and their well-being, how they're improving and getting better. And you can see other people that show up and they just stare in a mirror and flex. So they just kind of run on a treadmill just because they want to watch Kelly Ripa or whatever. And then that's basically, but they're not really improving or getting better. But they're the ones who get frustrated after a while and go, ah, this gym sucks. Is it the gym's fault? It's the gym's fault that you didn't put in the right work. It's the gym's fault that you don't ask how to get better. You don't look into seeing what can make you better. Go to the gym tonight. Open mic is the gym. That's where you should be to flesh out ideas. And if you're like, well, I have nothing to work on your 5 minute set. That one you think is so great. Flesh it out. Always have something to work on. I have a goal. I'm going to go tonight. I've had this story that started off where I had no punchline to it, which is a story. I had to move things around. And now, by the last time I worked on it last week, it had a lot of strength to it. Going to keep fleshing it out tonight. I have another one too. I have goals that I'm going to go with. When I go to the mic tonight, these 2 or 3 things need to get accomplished. They need to be recorded. Then when I'm done, I go back home and I listen to them and I write down, okay, I like how I said this. Oh, I think this word is making no sense here. Does it have a purpose? Maybe this doesn't work here. Maybe I need something, a callback from somewhere else to go into here. But what the audience does, the quote unquote, oh my God, whatever they're doing, that means nothing to what I'm doing. I know what's going to make that joke work because I've been on enough shows and I've watched enough comedy, I've asked enough questions, and I pay attention to everything there. I don't blame the fucking 5 people who on a Monday after Father's Day are fucking having cheeseburgers at Rascal Flats restaurant in fucking Stanford. I'm gonna get mad at them because they don't understand my. If someone goes there, I'm doing this joke about armpits, I guess they don't like armpits. I mean, no one likes armpits, but it's not about your subject. It's not about them. It's not about you being too crazy. It just didn't relate. You got to make the joke relate. And that's what you work on relatability. How do I, the biggest difference, if someone says to me, they could never be a comic. When you meet someone and they go, you're a comedian, I could never do that. I'm like, yeah, you could. They're like, no, I could. I'm afraid of talking to people, this and that. I'm like, well, none of that shit has anything to do with it. You learn to do that quick, like every job. You start your phone. People that drive trucks, and at one point they couldn't drive truck, and they learned how to drive truck, and now everyone's like, oh, I couldn't drive truck. Well, you could if you fucking learned it. And that's it. But the only thing about comedy is this. If you're someone who's funny at parties, and you're someone who is the wacky one at school, and you're the one who all your friends say, tell that story again. If you tell a story, and at the end of the story, you have to say, I guess you had to be there, then you can't be a comedian. Because a comedian takes the story where we'd have to say you have to be there and then make you feel like you were. That's the trick. That's it. Here's your golden ticket. I don't care if it's a story or a joke or whatever. The key is never having to say you had to be there. Make them feel like they were. How do you do that? By relating, by explaining, by using details, by using delivery that makes people understand your vision. When we tell a joke and a story, we see it in our minds. The key is for you, the audience member, to see it the way we see it. Not by going, hi, my name is Pat, and I'll be talking about the movie Twilight today. If you don't know the movie Twilight, here's a breakdown. No, there is a way to do that. When you tell your friends you're binge watching some shit, you don't break the whole thing down. Hey, you ever see Westworld? And they're like, no, it's like, oh, it's this thing about robots and cowboys and fucking and stuff. Anyway, boom. And then you tell them your wacky thing about Westworld. It's just about breakdowns and learning and how to make people relate to things. That's what the practicing is. How do you make it seem like a conversation? Because that's what you're having with people. Even though they're not talking back, you're up there having a conversation. You got to work that out. Just to go, man, they don't get it. They suck. So the whole place sucks. So everything's terrible because they're not understanding me. Is that what you do a job when your boss doesn't understand something you're trying to ask? You just say, you suck as a boss, and you walk away? Well, you're not going to last long. Work hard. Work at relating on things. Stop blaming everyone else. Don't even blame yourself. Just work at it. Ask questions. Work hard. And in the contest, when you're there on Wednesday and 8 of you don't make it, who cares? Take that recording of what you did. You go home. You listen to it. You figure out what didn't work, what didn't relate. You write down notes, and then the next day, you fucking go to a mic or a show, and you work on improving that. Not for the contest, for you. Like I said, I'll be at the open mic tonight every single Monday at Rascal Flats. Sign up at 7 o'clock. Show starts at 7:30, but if you get there a little later, we'll let you sign up. We usually run till about 9:15. Or so. So please come on out. Comics get 5 minutes. We ask you to go there. This Wednesday, I'll be at Lenny's in Old Lyme with myself and Beecher and Ryan Brouth doing a comedy show there in Old Lyme at 7 o'clock. Go to patotes.com for the details on that one. Thursday, I'll be having my final Thirsty Thursday hand-picked potato show at Comics Mohegan Sun. I'll still be there a bunch of Thursdays. I'll be doing shows with Frank, but the ones I'm putting on myself, the bringer shows that I was running, I'm going to take a break from putting those on for a while. But this one, June 21st, Thursday, 10 o'clock. Tickets are only $10. I got a bunch of funny comics on the show. Come out and see that. And then the whole following week, I've got the Monday shows at Stanford every week. We think that the Stratford show, the one that was at Dante's, they're changing the name and everything. We think that should be open by next week. We're not sure. Frank will give me some announcements on that stuff today, but we think they'll be happening. But either way, after that, Wednesday through Sunday, Comics Mohegan Sun for a bunch of shows. One show Wednesday, one show Thursday, Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. I'll be up there the whole time. So make sure to go check that stuff out. Go to palace.com for all. I got a bunch of July and August stuff too. My latest article, a lot of people are really enjoying. The feedback has been overwhelming. Thank you very much. A lot of people private messaged me saying that it really helped them, that they've dealt with a lot of demons in their heads and things like that. And the article's more about that as comics with our creativity and our minds overload when we talk about jokes and analyzing. The problem with that is our minds overanalyze real life situations too, and sometimes that leads to depression and struggles and mental health things and stuff like that. So the articles help people out. You can find it on patos.com or follow me on Medium for that. The latest Pat Oates' Sad podcast is a really good one with Pete Angelo and his boyfriend, Pat Ariola. That was a really funny one. Go check that one out. It's on iTunes, on Stitcher. It's on patos.com as well, and comedylol.com. Our newest one, this Wednesday, we'll be debuting with comedian Ryan Brouth. We talk a lot about the comedy contest coming up and about our new comics. We're about trying to get into comedy clubs and dealing with bookers. Ryan gives a lot of fucking great detail on that stuff. So make sure you check that out Wednesday morning when that drops. If you're a Patreon person for Comedy LOL, then you have already heard it. But if you're not, donate and you get the podcast the day we record it. Besides that, guys, thank you for watching Pat Oates Awoke. And I'll have another one tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And whatever.